What's going on, everyone in the Jason Nation? My name is Jason and welcome to a really different type of video. Today, as most of you know, Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon were both announced and confirmed by Nintendo, so we are getting some new Pokemon games at the end of the year. What's cool about this is that means it's also time to go through the trailer and see all the little hidden secrets and Easter eggs and stuff that they've also thrown in there for us to find. Now, a couple of the big things I'm going to be talking about in this video. Number one is just any of the small little things that I could point out whilst we're watching this video and see sort of what we're going to be able to take a look at here and see what we can expect from this game so far from what they've shown us in this trailer, as well as the possible location of this region, which, by the way, once we get into that, there's a special person I'd like to thank for some of the information based upon that theory. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing that you'll probably notice here is when we go through the trailer, the first thing that they're actually showing off of the new games is not gameplay related, it's more so stuff that's actually set around their office and their studio. So you got some Pikachu drawings here, but as you can see here, and if we actually go ahead and take a closer look at the screen here, we're just going to zoom in. I'm doing this in edit mode in my editing software, so we can take a bit of a closer look here. As you can see, one of the things off the bat that I've noticed here, we're just going to move this to the side, should be able to see that a little bit better. What we look like we have here is the possibility of the new Pokemart counter area, because as you can see, and I think it was just before here and underneath here, you can actually see that we also have looks of what looks like to be possibly a cafeteria. I'm not sure if that looks more like a cafeteria type of place. And there was also a spot here where we saw the actual Pokemon Center being remodeled, so we're gonna get back to that in a second and see. There we go. So now we got the new shot of the Pokemon Center. This is what the brand new Pokemon Centers look like, presumably. So it's like a nice big dome shape. That roof is actually pretty damn sick, I can't lie. So that's like the exterior of the new Pokemon Centers and stuff like that. Also on the wall here, you can see, like I said, just other interiors of buildings. But what I can see, and if you actually look really closely, I'm probably wrong on this. I'm more than willing to bet that I'm wrong. But okay, that looked like something else originally. I thought that was going to be like, maybe like the case the 3 Pokeballs the starters were held in, but I couldn't tell. From at a glance, that looked a lot different, but it's okay. Let's just keep moving forward with this. One thing that is important to look at here, though, is all of the fast frames and motions that they add in this, because when they add in those fast frames and motions, that's usually meaning they're trying to do something without you noticing it. So it's like supposed to be a little bit of a secret. You can see here that there's actually some Jeeps and stuff that you can drive. So these are possible. It's very possible that we might be able to drive and have our Pokemon in the back of our car with us, the ones that are in our party. That's also just, again, a very brief theory, a brief summarization of what you can find here, but that's definitely not out of the question, because that's also incorporating a feature from Heart Gold and Soul Silver where your Pokemon would follow you around. Sort of like it, not the same though. But you can also see there's also what looks like to be a Poke Ambulance, which might even be for the Pokemon Center. I'm not sure what kind of play that's going to have, and that might just be for looks model-wise, but nevertheless, you can definitely see 100% in the Jeep picture up here that your character, or one of the characters, is actually driving it. I don't know if it's like a main character or not, but I'm assuming it's just a character in the game driving it, but you've got some Pokemon in the back of it, so possible safari time with your Pokemon. You might be able to go on like a safari search and stuff like that, which would be pretty damn insane if you ask me. One other thing that's worth mentioning is here you can see some other exterior shots and one interior shot of what looks to be some offices up here. This looks like it's just an area where some hotels are, and it looks like right here as well on the Windows Photo Viewer right here, you can see they've got a nice exterior shot of the front of this hotel, and there's a horsey fountain and all this cool stuff here. One thing that's worth noting though is if I think they actually, there you go, show a zoomed in shot of it here. You can see that there's just rough development on the characters. There's no faces. There's really rough models. If you actually zoom in really close, you can see what I'm talking about here. Freaking thing got to do it, man. You can see it's like a stick figure. It's not a completed model of the character yet, so there's definitely work to be done. But first of all, there's showing a lot of different hotels and a lot of different, I guess these are interior shots of this hotel. Could this possibly be where you start the game and stuff like that? We'll get into that more because it was a theory. Like I said, I have to thank someone special for, and we'll get to that in just a second. As you keep moving forward here, you can actually see what possibly might be the first look at a new Pokemon. So this could definitely be 7th gen. So people were thinking this is 6.5. These are just new 6th gen Pokemon, but I think we're going straight to 7th gen by the looks of things here. And possibly, maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll even get some kind of cool legendary mascots for these games, but I don't know. I think this game is going to focus more on the premise of the 20th anniversary than anything. The reason why I say that is just because they're really, I don't know if you guys know what I mean by this, but they seem a little out of place. A little out of place in the storyline a little bit. So once you see more of this video, you'll understand what I kind of mean by that, I guess. Now, what I want to get into here, and I'm going to have to pull this person's name up. Okay, so this comes from McClendon Major. Big shoutouts to you, dude. I've just found your Twitter today and all that, courtesy of my buddy Tony. He showed me your Twitter and kind of made me aware of this. I want to make this video to let other people know about your theory, so I'm definitely going to link your video in the description and your channel and all that good stuff. Go check him out. This next part of the video is entirely comprised of the research this guy has done, so big shoutouts to him. It's full credit to him and all that, but I wanted to share this with you guys because I thought this was really, really interesting. One other thing that he goes on to mention on his Twitter, and the first piece of evidence to show that this game might possibly take place in Hawaii, is that, first of all, you can see that in the trailer itself, he says, first of all, you can see in the trailer itself that there is a look at that new Pokemon that I was showing off to you guys. Now, you can see here in color. What's cool about this is that he actually did a bit of Googling, and I suppose this dude must have lived in Hawaii previously because he says that in one of these messages on his Twitter. Again, I'll leave all the original stuff in the description. He goes on to say that that bird looks really similar to this Hawaiian bird that he Googled. It's the state of Hawaii's, the Hawaiian goose is what it's called, according to this Google search. So it's like the state's mascot bird or something like that. Will this be the legendary? I very, very doubtful on that. I think this is more so just a little teaser to try and get the fans who go really, really far into it, like this guy, will probably be able to figure it out. The other thing that is very, 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 very interesting here is we all remember that strange souvenir item we got in X and Y, but no one really knew what to do with it. Well, it turns out that it looks like a tiki, and tikis are quite a big thing in Hawaii. They're more so of a they're monuments. They're like a mascot sort of for Hawaii in a way, if you want to call it that. I'm not a very not very educated with the Hawaiian culture, but I know that tikis were like basically they're carvings of wood and stuff like that. So you know, you get the comparison there. And finally, another thing this is the most important thing, right? And this is actually, as far as my Googling and all my research goes here on this one, he says the code name for this game was Pokemon Rainbow, right? Well, last year, the hint that they gave us for the last time they gave us a hint for the game was flowers, right? And I believe that was for X and Y to do with Floette and like the big storyline thing to do with AZ reviving his Floette and all that stuff. That was the last time they gave us that hint. But this time the hint they gave us is Pokemon Rainbow. Not really a hint, they didn't really give us that. That's just the code name for it. It turns out that Hawaii is known as the Rainbow State. Could this have any kind of relation with each other? Who knows? That could be very interesting to find out. But one thing that's even cooler is that someone even said, I believe it was actually someone who responded to one of his tweets, and I thought this was pretty cool, is when you go to the part right here where they zoom in on the shot of the hotel, what if your character, like, because that guy looks like the red character right there, that looks like red. That looks like red. I swear to God, that literally looks like red, but it's probably just a placeholder character, right? What if they ended up putting you on a vacation instead, and you fight these gyms in like a tropical region or something like that, instead of it being the classic just somewhere in Japan? I know they've done it elsewhere before, like I know Carlos was in France and all that, but in Hawaii, that would be pretty legit, dude. And what if you start your adventure off on a vacation and then you get yourself in trouble somehow with the evil team that is, you know, taking over, whatever, you know how the story usually goes. You find yourself in trouble when you're on vacation and stuff like that. And I think that would be pretty legit. That would be pretty damn cool and a really, really interesting plot line, especially. And what's even cooler about the whole scenery here is you can tell that they're trying to show us something. They're trying to make us dig deep into this and look at it in the bigger picture. I mean, honestly, I didn't have a theory about this previously before reading Mr. Metagame Major. I guess his @ McClendon Major, but Metagame Major is on Twitter. I didn't really even think about any of this because I didn't look deep enough into the trailer, but honestly, dude, that's a crazy good theory. That is insanely good, and I totally believe that that is possible. 100% it's possible that we could be going to Hawaii and visiting like a tropical region. It's pretty cool. There's some evidence that could lead up to it, and especially because one thing that I was saying earlier about the Jeeps, which we'll actually go back to here, you can see that, like I said, you might be going on a safari. You could drive with your Pokemon in the back of it, and you can drive around the region. That may be the new method of transportation versus like the roller skates or the bike. Maybe you won't get one of those. Maybe you'll have your own car instead, which would be pretty ridiculous because you can't fit a car in the back of your backpack. So you could probably rent these instead or something like that, similar to the taxi service in X and Y. So who knows how it'll work? But I'm more than excited for these games, and I can't wait to see more information and just more Pokemon and more leaks for this game start surfacing so I can make more and more predictions about it, because this is insane, dude. I was not expecting at least this much, but to be honest, there's a lot more in this trailer than a lot of people may have thought. So hopefully this has enlightened you on some of it, and hopefully this gives you a good idea on where this game may be based for when it comes out in 2016. But with that, my name is Jason. Thank you, dude, so much for watching. Once again, make sure to check out Metagame Major. Link to all of this stuff is in the description. And I will see you dudes in the next one.